Yo guys, welcome back to a brand new video and another episode of my F1 2019 career mode here today for round 14 for the Italian Grand Prix, guys. If you guys missed round 13 for the Belgian Grand Prix, watch the episode by clicking the card in the top right hand corner of your screen before you jump into any further spoilers in this video. Now, for this episode, you can see on screen, we have a chance to reign in the race. It's Ferrari's home race, and the pressure is on all the way, to Maranello. The Ferrari fans are going to be hoping for a big result here, and you can see on screen, rain this weekend is going to make things very tasty. Also, bad news, unfortunately, once again, for the second race in a row, upgrades have failed. In this case, an engine power upgrade, and the team have really let me down lately with upgrades when I really needed them. And in terms of elsewhere, Haas and Renault and Red Bull and Mercedes, really everyone, but mainly Haas and Renault bringing the big upgrades to this race, and we stay where we are. And it's annoying because we're slipping backwards, guys, and I'm trying to maximize the R&D. I'm scoring 300 points plus in practice. There's not much more I can do. I'm having decent qualifyings and decent races. There's literally nothing else I can do with the R&D points. So yeah, I've had this kind of internal discussion with myself over the last few races, and I am kind of thinking about, we might just have to give up on this season altogether and completely focus on next season and really try and save a massive amount of R&D points for the winter and really work on the car, because I can't see us making big progress, especially going to the next season, if we still want to push on this year, pretending that we're going to try and get anywhere near Red Bull. I really just can't see it happening. So, yeah, let me know in the comments down below, guys. I want your opinions because I'm not sure what to do, and I am pretty much 70-30 leaning towards just giving up on this season now and focusing on next year. Obviously, we're not going to entirely give up on this season, but we are going to do a lot less upgrading and really do the kind of upgrades you wouldn't normally do. So, reliability, department efficiency, so parts don't fail and things are cheaper. Recently we've invested a lot in department efficiency, which makes upgrades 10% cheaper. We've got 2 out of the 5 or 2 out of the 6 on the chassis, and I believe 1 out of the 6 on the engine. And we can keep on buying those, making the upgrades very cheap going forward, because the upgrades are getting very expensive now. And I think that's one reason why I can't really keep up. So, yeah, I've definitely got one eye on that to see if we can try and improve and make the upgrades cheaper, because next season has to be the one. We won the Constructors last year, but we didn't win the Drivers, and I want to win both championships in the same season with Ferrari. That's the target, and that's what I set out for when I started this career mode with them, and I want to try and achieve that goal. As you can see, though, we're only to qualify now, though. Overcast conditions here today, and in Q1 you can see currently 1/10 down in Sector 1, 6/10 down through Sector 2 on Lewis Hamilton in the Red Bull, and the car's working pretty well. I was using 106% AI, or sorry, no, 107 actually, I believe. I went to 107 for this one, and I tried my luck, and it was going pretty well, to be fair. I felt confident, but then after Q1, yeah, I was struggling for pace, I can't lie. Again, not really me or the ARB and OP, it's just the fact that it is where the car is, and the car just doesn't have the pace. Across the line you can see we go P10 there, 7/10 off. Overall not too bad of a lap there. The final sector was actually pretty decent, and then we go through into Q2 in the end, P10 as we drop down a little bit. Sebastian Vettel P5, 4/10 off in the other Ferrari, but yeah, overall nothing we could really do. That's good pace for us. It really is. The lap felt good, the car feels good, and all I can do is maximise how I feel with the car. As you can see now, into Q2, this was my best lap of the session, so we're going to stay on board for this one, and this is a 110% flat out pushing lap, as if we were Q3, because I knew I was going to struggle to get into Q3 because we was already on the bubble in Q1 in P10. So here we go. So far so good through turns 1 and 2, taking a lot of curb through turn 1, especially smoothly on the power as we go flat out through turn 3, and now you're going down towards turns 4 and 5 here, looking for the 100-meter board on the right hand side as your reference. Really take a nice bit of inside curb there, more than I did, to be fair. You want to really make sure you go on that inside curb through the left to open up the right. And now into Lesmo 1, down a couple of gears. Make sure you focus on your exit out of here to maximise the speed, and then down 2 more gears at the 50-meter board for the second Lesmo. Take a lot of inside curb once again through there and open up DRS onto the back straight, using overtake mode to really maximise your top end speed along the back straight underneath the bridge. And now into Ascari braking just as the curb appears on the right hand side. I had to take a bit of a second correction on the steering there because I turned it a little bit too early. Luckily enough, we got it right and didn't get a corner cut, which is good. And we're 4/10 down on Lucas Weber so far through the second sector with 6 minutes to go, as we now go down towards the Parabolica, looking at the 50-meter board as your reference. Brake just before that, down to 5th gear, patience on the throttle, and then pick up the accelerator slowly on the exit and use overtake up to the line. And let's see where that puts us. Is it good enough? Oh, it just is. We lose 3/10 in the final sector alone, which, to be fair, in the last qualifying session in Q1 we didn't actually lose anything in the final sector, so that was a little bit concerning, but luckily enough for me, even though I was P10, I looked at the monitor and we had about 3-4 tenths in our pocket, and I decided to not go back out. I stayed in the garage, and luckily for me it was enough, and we got through to Q3 once again on the bubble in P10. And now in Q3, speaking of which, you can see how my first run, we wasn't too far behind, but then I cut unfortunately at Ascari. It was actually a pretty good lap up until that point, and I was really happy with it. But yeah, we cut the corner. I still finished the lap to get a reference on the Delta, but now we're going to go for our second and final run in this qualifying session here in Q3, and hopefully this lap is nice and clean as we open up DRS onto the pit straight here. Straight away, turn 1, you're looking for the 100-meter board. You want to brake just before that, down to third gear and then down to second. Attack the inside curbs, especially at turn 1. And I got a little bit too hot on the brakes, because ideally you want to really focus and only prioritize your exit out of there, because it's going to dictate how much speed you get along this kind of curved back straight of turn 3. Either way, so far so good through sector 1. Now into sector 2, breaking at the 100-meter board. A little lock up there. I clipped the grass on entry, and that's going to ruin my line through the chicane, unfortunately, and cost me some time as we dropped 2 tenths there, 3 tenths almost in that section. Now going through the Lesmos, trying to make up for lost time here. A little bit wide through Lesmo 1. Luckily, the lap did not get invalidated. Lesmo 2, I missed the apex and run wide again. And it's a bit of a scruffy lap so far, and it's definitely about, I want to say, 3-4 tenths we've left on the table so far, because sector 1 was not perfect, and sector 2's been very scruffy so far. 7 tenths down on Lewis Hamilton as we now go into Ascari, trying to carry the speed and make up for lost time. To be fair, that was pretty good. Very smooth run through there. Had a really good exit onto the back straight as the flag drops in qualifying. And now we're going to go in towards the Parabolica here, down to 5th gear at the 50-meter board. I actually used 4th to be fair to pick up the rotation, and we actually got a really good exit, and the final sector was actually pretty good to be fair. We made up about a 10th in that final sector, but overall we crossed the line. We did briefly go P6 I think, but then we got pushed down to P10 because I was the first one out of the last runs to cross the line. I should have in hindsight been the last one to cross the line, but I didn't calculate it right. I went out hoping to get a cool down lap in, and I didn't time it right, and I went out, I was the first one across the line basically, and everybody else improved after me. So overall, a disappointing Q3. We qualified P10, and I think if we'd crossed the line last and actually done a perfect lap where we probably, I'd say, had 4 tenths in our pocket, it could have been a different story, a really different story. But overall, it's P10, a disappointing qualifying. However, it is going to be wet tomorrow in the race, so we might have a chance with strategy. So let's jump into it, and let's see if we can try and turn this around. It's time for round 14 for the Italian Grand Prix, Ferrari's home race. The pressure is on.
It's race day here in Italy once again. Monza, home to so many records. The smallest winning margin, for example. Do you remember in 1971, Peter Gethin beat Ronnie Peterson to the line by 1/100th of a second. There were 40 overtakes for the lead alone in 1965, and Kimi Räikkönen clocked a record top speed of 230 miles per hour here, just over a decade ago. So there's a lot to live up to then for all of our drivers today. With the rain coming down here at the 3.6-mile Monza circuit, the low drag setups preferred by most teams could cause them some problems in today's Grand Prix. So watch out for cars struggling for grip around Parabolica, the last and most demanding of this track's 11 corners. A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who's beside me in the commentary box today. Why don't we start by talking about Carlos Sainz? Looks like they've got a tough race in store today, as grid penalties from changing power unit components has forced them further down the field.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position with Charles Leclerc alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Weber, Magnussen, Daniel Ricciardo and Perez, Gasly, Vettel, Butler and Martinez, Bottas, Norris, Lance Stroll and Verstappen, Raikkonen, Russell, Alexander Albon and Antonio Giovinazzi. Fiat and Carlos Sainz will start from the back of the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Right guys, so here we are then on the grid for the Italian Grand Prix, starting from P10. Not the best qualifying at all. Q3 very messy, and we've got a lot of work to do here today in the race to try and turn it around for the team. You can see Sebastian Vettel in front, Devon Butler to my left hand side, and Pierre Gasly just in front and to the left of Sebastian Vettel. So I think that might be the battle here today, to be honest. The target for me is maybe to try and get a top 6. I think Haas, Renault, Red Bull are really, really quick around here, and it's going to be quite hard to beat them. It's going to come down to strategy, and as you can see, it is raining on screen, and the strategy might allow us to do something, because we've got full rain all the way down to dries, and I think we might just run a set of dries right towards the end. There could be a chance of that. So, yeah, overall, looking at the weather, that might give us a chance later on in the race. All we've got to do is try and stay in the race for the first part in the wet conditions. As you guys know, with the full wets, we've struggled in the past. Ever since the new patch came out, you know, at Silverstone, we really struggled. But then the second we got into the intermediates, we was really, really quick. So I'm kind of hoping that we can just get through this wet period and try and stay in the race. And then hopefully as the track dries up, we get faster and faster. Fuel-wise, I'm running 1 extra lap of fuel so I can use it on the straights. Normally I'd run less or negative in the wet, but because it's Monza and you need the engine power, we're going to try and run a little bit more fuel and see how we get on. But that being said, let's just jump into it. The pressure's on. It's Ferrari's home race and we need to score big. Let's jump into it. It's time for the Italian Grand Prix. Right, here we go. Let's build up the revs, get them into the sweet spot. I'm going to keep them a little bit lower than normal. 5 lights are on, and they are off, and away we go for the Italian Grand Prix. Be patient, a short shift, and that's actually not too bad of a start, to be fair, from my standards in the wet. I'm going to make some adjustments to the brake bias. I've realised I forgot to change the brake bias, so we're going to get that sorted out. Also the differential as well. Bottas trying to get past, but he doesn't find a way through, and we stay in front for now, which is good. Sebastian Vettel and Devon Butler going side by side here. Let's just try and stay in front of Valtteri, who's pretty quick. That racing point, quite slippery on the straight, but we are pretty quick on the straight as well. Our Ferrari car is very, very good on the straight, so hopefully once we get towards the dry weather with DRS and stuff like that, or even in the intermediates, I think we should be a lot better off. At the minute, the visibility is very poor, as we almost hit the back of Devon there into the Lesmo. That's going to put me offline. I'm wide. Understeer onto the gravel. That's a big mistake. Getting caught out there by the AR braking very early. Collision with Stroll. So we're down to P13 now. That's not ideal. That's not what I wanted, going backwards like that, but we're going to try and have to recover these positions. Max Verstappen there behind us trying to get a toe. As we go into a Sky for the first time. Grip is very poor. I can already tell the AI are very good on traction, which is annoying, but it's to be expected. We've got to try and get through these conditions, and then hopefully we'll have a chance later on in the race. Yellow flag behind. Something's happened. Green flag now, so it looks like they've got back going again. Either way, lap 1 draws to a close. It's been a disappointing lap 1. Started off okay, but then the Lesmo fell apart, so let's get back up to speed. Let's see if we can try and recover.
Through the start phase. Now let's build on it.
Yep, let's see if we can try and build on that and try and recover some places. At least get back into the top 10. Here comes Max Verstappen. He's going to go to the left-hand side, down towards Parabolica. No confidence at the minute, struggling for pace. Just the wet conditions don't suit me that much, as Lewis Hamilton sets the pace. Now we've got to try and stay in front here on the pit straight. It's going to be a drag race. Luckily enough, I've got good engine power, and look at that, how we pull away on the straight. Really good straight line speed. Hopefully the car's battling in front. That's what I can hope for, really, because I don't really have the pace to keep up. Norris and Stroll side by side. Let's see if we can try and get past those guys. Stroll, Norris, side by side here. Norris gets in front of Lance Stroll. We've made an adjustment to the brake bias, and I've got a little bit more pace now. I've just got to be careful with the rear tyres locking. That's what I've got to watch out for. But if I can stop the rears from locking, then 54 brake bias is a lot better for me. I've got a lot more pace. Just struggling to get traction down, unfortunately, which is the story of, you know, me in the wet conditions, especially in the heavy rain. I've got no pace. So, like I said, we've just got to try and get through this period by staying in the race, and then on the inside we'll get a chance.
Yellow flag.
Oh, yellow flag. Oh my god, what the hell's happened there? Whoa. Whoa. Whoa, what the hell? We're up to P6.
Green flag.
The reactions, the way I managed to dodge that incident.
Our gap
Wow.
to the car in front is 7.1 seconds.
What? I'm so confused. What the hell? What? What? We're up to P6. Okay, cool. I saw Vettel tangled up in that, which is not ideal, but what the hell was that? I've got to catch a replay. But Ricciardo's in the wall, there must have been some kind of contact. I'm speechless. What? We've just been released into clean air in P6 in these conditions. We're in this race all of a sudden. my god, another yellow flag, what? There's a brief yellow flag there for a second. I just realised Ricciardo's in front of me, even though...
ERS deployment. It's time to use some of this charge.
I'm really confused. I could have sworn I saw Ricciardo backwards at Parabolica. It was him who got tangled up. How come he's in front of me? I've just realised. That's confusing. Either way, we'll continue on. Continue on our way. The replay system will resolve all doubts. Okay, the rain's definitely stopped now in intensity. The track's improving because I'm going pretty quick this lap. I'm on for a personal best. We're actually catching the cars in front. I wonder if they're in a really hefty battle or something. Either way, we're starting to find our pace here. 1.2 up on a personal best this lap. The track's drying up. Dare I say, it could be time for inters. I'm going to select the inters on screen. I don't know if I'll come in this lap, maybe the next lap, but the inters are definitely there. Okay, look at that. I think the Red Bull's coming in. So we're going to pit in for inters maybe. Do I dare go for it? Do I go for the inters? These tires still feel okay. You know what?
Understood, stopping this lap.
We're going to pit in. We're going to play it safe. Do what the leaders are doing. There we go, into the pit lane. Huge lock up, but that's fine. On to the intermediates. We're going to go for it. Come on, boys. Good stop, please. Here we go.
Go, go, go.
There we go. 2-second flap. No traffic in the pit lane. Okay, this could be big. This could get us back into the race. We saw Ricciardo in front of us. There's a couple of cars battling away. If we have a good add up on these tyres, we can close that gap.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
Up to speed. Let's see what these inters. There's Devon and Sebastian. Got to take it easy while I'm offline on these inters, just to be careful. Okay, yeah, the track's definitely ready for inters. The grip is there. Let's have a look at traction, see what we're like. Yeah, that's fine. There's definitely a grip on these. I can adjust the brake bias and also the differential now. Right, let's get up to speed. Let's try and make a decent lap out of this. These tyres are quick. We're gaining on Devon and also Seb.
Got plenty of energy. Switch to overtake and have a go.
First track extension there, just running a little fraction wide out of Ascari. I don't really think that was much of a track extend, but the game thought it was. Into Parabolica, Sebastian I think has wing damage because he's going very slow for the corners. Let's floor it now. They'll probably pit in. Okay, no, Devon stays out, so I'm guessing Gazzy will probably come in. Let's get past the Mercedes. Here we go.
Sebastian is in the pits.
There's Kimi, I believe, so we're going to get back in front of Kimi. Right, so there's Weber just in front of us. He's now in the inters, in the Red Bull, so looks like not many others come in. A lot of them have stayed on the wet, so let's push on this lap and try and set the pace. Right then, let's see what the pace is. So we've got a few more cars in the pit lane. 30.2, that's pretty damn good. There's Ricciardo.
Verstappen is stopping now.
He's rejoining inters as well, so let's get after him. Lucas Weber setting the pace, 29.3. That is quick pace to be fair. There's George Russell in the pit lane. And there's a Haas leaving the pit lane, 29.8 from us. We're about half second off the pace, even on the inters, but the pace is better on these. And we can just hang in there until the dry period. 29.1 from both Red Bulls that lap. We're a little bit off that, but we are a little bit quicker than Ricciardo. Across the line, 29.6 again. Just a decent pace at the minute, we're hanging in there. Another question is going to be, do we commit to inters at the end of the race, or will it dry up before the end? At the minute, it looks like it's going to dry up before the end of the race, to be honest, based off of how quickly we got into the
The
inters.
car behind is dropping back. We're seeing a gap form.
That's good news. We can just focus on Ricciardo in front. I think there's Magnussen, he's right behind, because Leclerc normally would be a bit quicker than that, so hopefully those two have a little bit of a battle and start to lose a bit of time. Looks like I think the other Haas is in the pit lane. I think that could be Charles Leclerc. He's just left the pit lane now, so was he on the wets all this time? If so, that's very strange. But all three of them are going to bunch up just up the road, which is good news for me. And Weber's not too far in front either. So the podium is in sight, which is good. It's good to know, especially with, I think, more strategy plot twists along the way.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
Okay, interesting.
Confirmed.
We'll just stick with that for now. In case if it does go, you know, inters all the way. I'm not convinced. The track's drying up really quick. You see a dry line starting to form already. And the rain is very, very little intensity. So I'm not convinced just yet. I'm really not. I'm kind of hoping it does go dry, to be honest, because I think I've got a better pace in the dry.
The gap to the car ahead is 4.1 seconds.
Let's just keep these guys in our sights.
Some information on Russell. They have an issue with their car. They're going to be slow.
Wow, 28.3 from Leclerc, as Russell has car trouble. Another personal best, 29.4. I think the track might be getting quicker, aka getting drier, as Magnussen and Ricciardo exchange positions here for the first time. I do have a small suspicion, you know, what if the AI were to stop for another set of inters? Could I stay out? I'm looking at my tyre wear, and it's not too bad, to be honest. To say I've been on these.
The car in front is 4.2 seconds.
Considering how long I've been on these, yellow flag in front. Oh my god, crash! Magnussen's out. Ooh, could that be a safety car?
Okay, the incident has been cleared. Let's get back up to racing speed.
Could it be a safety car for the first time ever? VSC, nothing? I mean, to be fair, we didn't get one for that final corner pile-up, so... Wow, okay, still no safety car VSC in this series, somehow. I was going to say, if the AI do stop for inters again... I might just go long on these. I reckon I could probably get these to the end of the race, to be honest, which would get me into this race if the AR stop again. So I'm going to plan on going long on these, I think, and keep my options open. I think if I go long on these and go to the end, regardless of the weather conditions, it would get me right into the race. Dare I say the podium contention, because that's the only way I'm going to make up the gap, because I don't really have to pace at the minute. So we're going to stay long on these. I'm going to try and drive smooth, but keep a good pace, and try and see what we can do. Okay, personal best, pretty good enough to be fair. 29.1. The quickest man on tracks that close doing at 28.4s, so that's the best we can do. Still going to go long on these though, just the pace is getting quicker. I think the track's drying up more and more, and the pace is getting faster on these tyres also.
Increasing our gap on the car behind by around a second a lap.
The fuel's burning off as well, of course, which helps. But we're looking good at the minute. If I finish in P5, I'd be very happy, to be honest. Did not expect that, but I can see P4 and I want it.
Okay, gap ahead is 4.4 seconds.
Oh, look at that. Hamilton's in the pit lane. Oh, he's leaving the pit lane now, but Hamilton's done another stop. He was leading the race, but he's coming for another set of inters. So it looks like that AR might actually two-stop. Even more reason to stay out. Unfortunately, I would like to have been in front of him, but still, he's just there. So if we stick with Hamilton as best as we can, we could be in the money here. That's big. Hopefully the rest of the guys in front two-stop as well. 10 laps to go.
The track is drying, but it's going to take a while to clear the standing water off the line. Don't start thinking about slicks just yet.
Okay, interesting. So it could stay wet for a little while. Yeah, looks like the AI coming in. Look at that. Look on the minimap. Everyone's stacking up. So looks like we are going to get two stops from the AI, at least most of them. I don't think Leclerc will come in because he came in very late for the inters. He's stayed on those wet tyres forever. But look at that. Lucas Weber's in the pit lane. Ricciardo as well. So here we go then. We're going to jump up to P3.
We're coming in this lap.
I'm scheduled to pit in this lap, but do I come in? I don't think I am. I'm going to stay out. I'll check my tyres in a minute. But I fancy staying out, to be honest. I fancy my chances. I think I can hold on to this. Yeah, tyres look okay. 34 on the left rear, that's fine. I can manage that. I want this podium really bad. It's a home race. I've got to try something different. So Leclerc leads, Hamilton second, I'm third.
Sebastian's in for his stop.
Sebastian pits in, so he's going to get a free box. He's trying to recover, of course. He got caught up in that Parabolica incident. Track looks really dry all of a sudden as well. Like the track's got a lot darker. Skid marks have become a lot more apparent, and the spray's a lot less coming off the tyres now. And the rain's really dropped off as well. It's just suddenly got. I just noticed now it's kind of hit me like midway through the Lesmos. The track's got really dry. 28.2 from Lewis, quickest lap of the race. That's not too quick, to be fair.
Pretty much burned off our excess fuel. We'll be back on target soon. Don't wait too long to turn the engine down.
That's only barely quicker than Leclerc's quickest lap for 28.3, so not great pace on those fresh inters. The track's starting to feel a bit horrible. Whether that's my tyres going off or the track drying up, I'm not really sure, but the spray's becoming very, very thin now. I'm not convinced this is going to finish on inters. I really am not. Unless this last bit of spray stays forever like this. Oh, the grip is not good. I'm tempted to go dry, so I might have gone in there, but I'm going to stay out just because everyone else is. But the track is getting really dry. I'm going to try and stay offline to keep my tyres cool. Maybe I set the pace behind. That's fine.
Okay, looks like some of those We're still on the right time for the time being, but we're not a million miles away from slick conditions. Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
There it is. Yes.
Got that confirmed?
Right. We're going to put in this up for dryers. I knew it. I should have put in that last lap. I had a feeling I should have. The track just got really dry all of a sudden. It just feels off. I can't explain it, but something just changed in the last 2 laps. But the track is now ready for dryers. And we're in P3 on for a podium here. This is looking bloody good. We can do this.
Confirmed. We'll receive you at the end of this lap.
There we go. DRS enabled. Right then. Let's do this. Everyone's going to pit in. It's going to be a busy pit lane. I've got no fresh softs left, but I think I've got the sets that I have of scrub, but they're only like 3 to 4% worn from quali because I did the manual in laps and out laps. Here we go then to the pit lane. They're also down. There we go. Right, here we go, boys. It's going to be a battle.
Information on Giovinazzi. They're retiring from the race.
It's going to be a battle to keep Weber behind. We'll try our best. Damn it, I got held a little bit. 1.9 is a bloody good stop, but the timing was really poor there as Weber just came in as I was about to go. So we lost a little bit of ground to the Red Bull. Now we've got to try and keep him behind for the rest of the race, which is going to be a real challenge.
Stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
Okay, let's try and get up to speed here. The grip doesn't feel great. Nice and cautious into the first corner here. Okay, yes, definitely dry tyres. Just got to be careful on traction and braking. Right then, let's see if we can try and nick a podium out of nothing for the home fans. And I think Lewis has stayed out in Instance for 1 more lap, so we might get a chance to undercut him here. Here comes Weber. He's all over the back, mate, but we've got good straight on speed. Like I said, I'm quite slippery on the straights. Giving Weber the squeeze there. A little bit nasty, a little bit naughty, but there's no rules. That was one move, and we're here to hold on to third.
ERS deployment. It's time to use some of this charge.
Grip's not quite there just yet. Hamilton's come in. He's gone to the soft, so Leclerc leads. Looks like he's going to probably win the race, to be honest. He's favourite. That was poor through there. A very poor run for the Lesmos. Weber's going to get a huge run down towards Ascari. The question is, will he get close enough?
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining.
No, he won't. Like I said, I'm slippery on the straights. That's why in qualifying I was okay. I could have done better. But I know this is my strength in the race because I've got good straight line speed to defend, although Weber this time, not messing around, he's turned the engine up. He's going to go to the outside. I wonder who got DRS there. I'll go on the brakes a little bit early on purpose. Weber on the outside. Oh, that's a bit of contact. I was trying to hang it, there's no grip. I've got DRS though. So let's try and return the favour. I had DRS, Weber tried to stay on the racing line, and he tried to turn me a little bit there, but we're back past. So we timed that to perfection. We actually nicked some DRS. So we're back in front. A few more laps to go. Let's try and hold on as best as we can. Weber's really got some serious straight line speed though. When he turns the engine up, that is. Similar to Spa. We're able to keep the Red Bull behind, but only when I turn the engine up. He's looking for a move down the inside there, but I just managed to get the brakes late enough. Okay, this time he's going for it. He's had a good exit. I'm going to have to go defensive. Down towards Ascari. Can we keep the Red Bull behind?
Gap to the car in front is 8.4 seconds.
Yes, we do. Late on the brakes. We were pretty much equal on the brakes, to be fair. Good defensive driving. And Weber's dropped back a little bit, to be fair. He might just be out of the DRS range, which is good. Will give me a break. Here comes Weber again. Nowhere near close enough this time for a move into Parabolica, so we'll take the racing line. But he's going to have a good run of me out of the final corner here, onto the pit straight. We're going to have to defend as best as we can. He's already literally on my monkey seat.
Okay, you're in the top 10.
Good pace for me, 22.0. Weber getting a double slipstream, trying to get past. We're on the outside, we're on the inside for turn 1. Weber gets through. We're going to just try and follow him. Use the slipstream, maybe we can get back past. Kimi Raikkonen and Lewis Hamilton, Route 2018. Around the outside, we're going to use our engine power, stretch our legs a bit. Around the outside, there we go.
Okay, gap ahead is 10.3 seconds.
We'll take that. Good defensive driving. I've run out of fuel though, and the RS is running low a little bit, so I want to try and charge up a little bit if I can. We've got a little bit of a battle in front as well between 2 cars. Oh wow, Weber with a big lunge into Lesmo. That caught me out, completely caught me out. He's made the move. Damn it. Come on, let's try and stick with him if we can. Try and stay within DRS. I've got to try and stay with him. Come on. I'm going to have to turn the engine up. I don't want to, but I've got to. We can't let him slip away. Look how early he gets on the power. Jesus Christ. Wow, that's very, very early on the power. I cannot match that. Come on, last bit of rich mix. This is my one chance to get back past. It's got to be perfect. Come on. Around the outside, inside for turn 2. A little bit of contact there. Come on. This Red Bull, Jesus, it's so quick. Come on. I'm in negative fuel. We're going to try again. I'm going to be on the outside this time. Yes, inside. Come on. Yes. Get in. Here comes Lucas again. All I've got is some overtake to follow, but I've got nothing. He's just too quick. He's got too much saved up. We're going to stay with him though. We're going to get a nice tow down towards Parabolica. Try and get some fuel back on target. A bit of ERS as well. A bit of management. Come on. Onto the last lap of the race. Trying to get the power as early as he did. No chance. We're so far back. Yellow flag in front. This is not good.
Final lap of the race.
Car's retired in front. It's going to ruin my one chance to overtake. It's going to ruin my only overtaking opportunity. As Danny Kvyat retires. Come on. I've got one last chance at this. I've got to get the perfect run through here. I've got to burn up the rest of my battery. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Less than a lap of fuel now. The tank
Oh,
is empty.
that was close. It's gone. It's gone. Weber's turning on me there. And that was ballsy stuff, but you had to do it. I don't think I'm going to be able to now, even with this DRS. Too far ahead, and I've got nothing to burn. Negative fuel. Come on. Let's try our best. Leclerc wins it, which is good. I'm going to try and stick with Weber here, but he's just too quick. Too much pace. Damn it. What a shame. Could have been so good. Could have been a podium, but we're going to just miss out, unfortunately. Up to the line then. P4 for us in the Italian Grand Prix. Still a good result. Grazie ragazzi. Forza Ferrari. Grande lavoro. Grazie.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
So another fantastic victory for Haas today. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
Haas are no doubt happy with today's performance, having secured the win this weekend. And our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations as we speak.
Right, so here we have the final race results as Charles Leclerc wins the Italian Grand Prix ahead of Lewis Hamilton and Lucas Weber. Lewis Hamilton, by far the quickest man, a 19.5 to pick up the first lap of the race in P2. And then we come home P4, we just missed out on the podium, starting from P10. We had nowhere near the pace. We tried a different strategy, staying out of the inters. It paid off because we got ahead of Ricciardo and we tried to get that podium. And then Ricciardo P5, Raikkonen P6, Gasly P7, Albon P8, Butler P9 and Sebastian Vettel P10, and I believe Sebastian got tangled up in that incident at Parabolica, so overall decent recovery from him to score a point. And then further down we've got Russell, Verstappen, Norris, and then Perez downwards, everyone's lapped, and Magnussen, Giovinazzi and Kvyat all retired from the Grand Prix. In terms of what the race means though for the standings, Lewis leads by 31 points over Lucas Weber and 61 over myself. I'm 30 points behind Lucas Weber, and we're running out of races now, so it's going to get quite tricky for me to win the championship. We're still so far behind Red Bull, and all we're doing is just dropping back. We're not actually catching, to be honest. In terms of the constructors though, we're in second place. Red Bull 228 points clear. They could probably win that in about 3 or 4 races time, to be honest. They're looking so dominant. But guys, that is it for Italy. We're now going to move into the laptop, put some upgrades into the car, and let's see what happens going into Singapore.
Your rivalry with Devon has been very popular, but has it been a distraction from the championship? You and Lucas weren't far apart by the finish. Do you enjoy racing against him? Did you struggle to get through all that traffic today? It's safe to say you're smashing everyone's expectations, isn't it? Great. Well, that's everything.
Okay, so here we are then on the R&D screen, and we have pretty much 2,500 points to spend, and we're going to spend them wisely because we need some performance right now on the car, to be honest. And it's not so much to push for the championship, it's just because we're slipping into the pack and I want to try and stay at least in the top half of the table. So first of all, we're going to purchase the failed aero upgrade, which was an ultimate one, which we should have had 2 races ago, onto the car straight away for Singapore. We're going to add to that the failed engine upgrade that was meant to be for this race, which will enable us to use the 3 major ones around it, which we can definitely explore. And then we've still got 1,200 points to spend, which I'm actually going to spend. I'm probably thinking on the department efficiency. Now, the aero looks pretty good on the car, I can't lie, so we could hold off on that. So I'm going to probably say the chassis as well looks pretty good. We've got 2 department efficiency upgrades here looking at next season. So I'm going to go to the engine, and I'm also going to get a department efficiency upgrade here to make these upgrades cheaper. So that'll be, again, 1 hour next season. And yeah, overall, you can see on screen now, we've got a big upgrade package on the way. We should hopefully overtake Mercedes and become the 4th quickest team once again, and hopefully make some progress, and fingers crossed nobody brings upgrades into the next race. But guys, that is going to be it for this episode of Career Mode. If you did enjoy it, drop a like and subscribe if you are new for daily Formula 1 content, and also turn on notifications to not miss a video from me, and finally check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next episode very soon, but until then, it's goodbye from me.